Super.
BS.
Gimme Mesquite, boys. What's up? It's Dave and the crew. We got a special friend of the family online with us. We got Vit Vit Mesquite, or more popularly...
I don't know if I like Dave and the crew so much. It makes it sound like
a boy band.
Yeah, it's like you're the leader. That's bullshit.
I mean,
I like being the crew.
I just decided that, so
And
we can vote on it. My vote just counts for 3.
Hey, he's a Dave in the Woods, guys.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake?
What about Vit Vit and the Mesquite 4?
That's better.
Yes, that's a lot better. I think all the listeners have voted the Mesquite 4.
Mesquite.
Well, anyways, it's
The results are in.
it's not Dave and the crew. It's Dave and the other leaders.
All
it's
leaders,
it's
all
the crew.
men.
it's
the crew.
it's the oligarchy. Sorry,
This is
a political science joke there for you.
The Dave
All
Matthews
garden.
Band.
Olive Garden joke for you. Anyways, who do we have here tonight? We have who's to my left here?
Just Donna. That's it.
Am I to your left?
You're to the north.
Who's north?
Who is that on the phone? Who is that?
Oh, Vita Vita.
Mosquito.
Back and raring. I've actually been playing my my Vita again.
Did you say
And I'll get to
raring?
that later.
Yeah, raring.
Raring.
You like
Raring.
raring to go.
Yeah,
Raring.
I'm raring to go.
Probably a nod to his medieval times career.
And roaring. He roars at
Oh,
us, too.
roar! It's like
Roaring.
internet roaring.
You know, like when the horse rears up and then you get thrown.
Gotcha.
So
That's me. I'm rearing.
So you're throwing your backside up in the
I'm
air
just-
proudly for all to see.
So you're a centaur now. Great.
We don't discriminate.
Who?
I'm Lionel.
Who's to
Lionel.
his south?
It's your baby boy Brank here, ready to bring you the good news.
Are you raring to bring the good news?
I'm raring and readying and definitely ready to do this with cats on me.
Brank, who's to your lap?
To my lap is my cat friend.
Cat. That's my cat Timber.
No, that's my cat.
Named after the tiger in Diddy Kong
It's
Racing.
named after Timbaland.
Whoa.
Timberland. That's actually more
It's
accurate.
actually just named after falling trees.
Timber. Actually, it's named after the Shakira.
No, it's not
Kesha.
Shakira.
No,
It's
Shakira,
a
Kesha.
Yeah.
Keisha.
Yeah.
No,
Quiche.
key money
No,
sign.
quiche.
Keisha.
Keisha. So who's left to be introduced here?
This is Vit Vit McJankerson.
All right.
We can't confuse these people enough.
One of our show's New Year's resolutions was to have less confusing
This
nicknames.
is it's Josh Jankerson, or just Josh, or
me,
just
Josh
Jank.
Just call yourself Josh or Jank. I'm Brank. You got that?
PhD.
You got Vit Vit over here.
Got Vit Vit. Okay, cool.
Vit Vit.
That was
Mesquite.
that was a long intro.
Just as a word of warning, Josh has been talking in and out of an Irish accent.
Slightly Irish, not on
Must
purpose.
have had a little too much luck in his lucky
He's
charms
excited
today.
for St. Patrick's.
I am.
It is coming up.
He's a red-headed man.
It's
so
it's the one.
Josh, can you do the rest of the show with an Irish accent, please?
Maybe.
It's a tall
Let's
order
try to
for
offend
us.
as many people.
Yeah, please.
Well, we have no listeners in Ireland yet, so this will
That's
bring them
true.
all in.
There we go. Diversify. Well, anyways, guys, thanks for joining us tonight on the episode 40 Uno. Is that what we're on?
40 Uno. We made it.
Wow.
We did it, guys. We hit the
Wow.
big milestone.
That's great. Congratulations to us. Quick house sweeping items. Like and comment us on iTunes or wherever you listen to the podcast. Hit us up on social media and send us an email at superbsgamescast.
Oh,
no.
You almost got it this time.
Oh.
Super BS Cast.
Super BS Cast. Okay. I just do that just to like reiterate it.
I do it so everybody knows.
Okay,
At
cool.
farmersonly.com.
why is our email different than our name?
Just
Legal
shut up.
legal issues.
Shut up, and you can't change your name once you make it.
Man, we are legal legends.
Legal legends.
Legal
legends.
So it's superbscast@gmail.com.
Hell yeah.
All right. Write us an email because the last email we got was from a guy the admin or whoever.
Vit Vita.
That was really funny though.
About Frankenstein.
About Frankenstein. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the last one we got was about Frankenstein, which was also great. Anywho, so let's chat about the games we playing. You guys want to talk about games we're playing?
Yeah.
Brank, why don't you kick us off on what games you're playing?
I have only been playing Quattro Gamos, which isn't a lot for me in
Wow.
a week span.
Pretty versatile. Twink versatile here.
How many is Quattro for our non-Spanish speaking
It's a
audience?
game called
It's
Quattro.
Quattri,
Okay.
which is
Quattri.
Italian for 4. So,
Weird.
yeah, I played a little bit more Owlboy. I don't know if it's exactly the game for me. I am about 2 hours into it, and I mean not 2 hours into it. Sorry, I played 2 more
2
hours.
minutes.
I'm almost done with it. It's a love letter. The guy did a really good job making it, but
It's ruffling some feathers.
it's rough, but I just don't really want like a super linear platformer. I've also been playing Hearthstone again.
Oh, cool.
Kobolds and whatever catacombs.
Catacombs.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
What class did you pick?
Hunter, and I've only gotten through 5 of the bosses because it starts ramping up like crazy.
Do you remember what types of totems you got, or like rewards, or?
Oh yeah, I chose the double health for
I
one.
told them all
run.
to fuck off.
Yeah, there you go.
I chose the double health for 1 reward, and
That's
then
a good
I
one.
chose increase your hero power by 1, and also make it cost 1 mana.
Okay, that's good. That's where you can aim, and it does.
No. This one just makes it so you shoot 3 at the enemy hero.
Oh,
every
3
time
damage.
for
Oh,
1
nice.
for 1 mana.
For 1 mana. Cool.
So that was cool, and I did a bunch of other stuff to get all the card packs because they keep giving you card packs if you haven't played in a long time. Like play 10 cards, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Cool.
I played Yakuza 6, like the demo. It just came out today. I'll actually cripple the news section real quick. So I want to throw this in there because the demo came out today. They accidentally released the whole game for free to people who downloaded it.
Oh dear.
So I downloaded it. I guess it's gonna be patched out later. But since I didn't have that much time, I couldn't sit through the 25-minute cutscene that starts the game. So I
Those are
only watched
brutal.
about 20 minutes of it. And then I've been playing a lot of Deus Ex. I love that game.
Wait. You watched 20 minutes of a 25-minute cutscene and didn't finish?
I didn't know it was 25 minutes when I was watching
You're
it.
already,
There wasn't an in-game timer counting
Yeah.
down.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I just recognized that I'd spent almost 1 million hours doing one thing, and I got crazy and died.
Yeah, we really need more in-game timers for cutscenes so that
They
we know what
do.
we're getting into.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
that racked. That went from
Fifi.
20 minutes to 1 million hours real
And
fast.
it's not
Real quick.
exaggeration. Somehow I fit 1 million hours between the last 2 podcasts. No, I've
Could have
been
just played a bunch of Hearthstone while you're watching the cutscenes.
That's
I
true.
could have, but
multitasking.
cutscenes are in Japanese, so I need to read the subtitles. Okay.
Was this on Nintendo Switch?
I mean, if you have, it sounds like you have zero interest in the story anyway, since you didn't want to watch the cutscenes.
I didn't have the time to
True.
finish 25-minute cutscenes.
Okay, you playing anything else?
Yeah, one last thing. I brought this up last week. Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. I just absolutely love running around the city. I just recently got a move that lets me charge dash through the air. So
Real
like,
quick, if the Deus Ex developers listening, please make a Skyrim type world where you can run around and explore the Deus Ex world.
it's actually
Who was that
I was
quoting there?
asking for a Black Panther
I know.
world.
Yeah, I know.
But that's me.
Yeah.
But no, I love it. I wish that they had more of these augmented kits. Like you get these praxis kits, and for like 2 points you can add a new ability, and then 1 lets you upgrade it. I wish it cost more and they had more in the world, because that's my favorite thing to find, and they're really, really rare. There's only 20 in the whole game to find, and the other ones you get are just by leveling up. But
I mean, you wish it cost more.
no, I wish like every praxis kit, like say it was like instead of 2, you need like 5 or 8, and when you jump up to the top of a balcony that's really hard to find, there's a praxis kit in there. But there's not, because there's only 20 in the game, so they put them in special
Wait, is
areas.
there like balcony rarity in this game? It's hard to find.
And he was using it as an example. I
Yeah,
think.
there was an example where I had to like.
No, I saw you jump off a balcony and die. That was
I got an ability that lets me hack things from far away, and so I hacked 2 ladders. Then I used my charge dash ability to dash through the air upwards into another.
Can we get a visual on this?
It was really cool. I wish I could do visuals. But
How
anyways,
far into the game are you?
I probably could beat it in like 3 hours, but I don't want to. So I don't know. I probably will play for another 10 or 15.
Oh, just exploring and messing around. And
Yeah,
stuff.
it's that fun. You know, it's kind of like just every time there's a new district, I just want to go there and find everything there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish there were more praxis points.
That's cool.
It's awesome. Thank you for asking. Pal.
practice makes perfect.
Oh,
So Vit Vit Mesquite McGitch,
Vita,
Horseman, Lionel. What are you playing?
syphilis.
A few things. One, really just been hunting me a lot of boar in that Breath of the Wild.
Oh, that's like the best thing in that game. So enjoy.
Wait, is that a
Actually,
callback to the last episode?
No.
I haven't been playing Breath of the Wild, but I did want to say, like you, Dave, when I first started, I went right and then up, and I hit that area that just keeps raining, where it doesn't stop raining, and I tried climbing a mountain for like 2 hours thinking it was going to stop raining, but
Are you talking about the Farosh wetlands area where you'll see a green dragon?
That's where the fish people are, right?
Yeah, it's kind
where
of
the
go
fish-
west or east.
No,
Yeah,
no,
well-
that's
No,
Zora's
it's east.
domain.
Oh, okay.
it's
Wait.
Zora's domain where
It's-
it's just raining.
Yeah, you have to
So I was
beat it
just-
for it to stop raining.
I didn't know that. I was exploring, and I get to this mountain, and I'm trying to climb it for so long. And I like wait, and I go and make a sandwich, and I'm waiting for it to stop raining, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
Wait, did you ignore? If you're in Zora's domain, did you ignore the part where all the Zora people are like, "Oh, it's ever since the beast went out of control, it hasn't stopped raining."
No, when I first started playing it, I was exploring before I talked to the Zora people.
Okay.
So I get to this mountain and burn a lot of time doing nothing.
Because there's the other part, Fair and Grasslands.
That's what it's called.
Yeah,
there.
where it rains way more and never stops.
Yeah, and that never changes.
Yeah,
It's a
that
pretty
place.
lush climate.
Yeah,
That's
a
also
lot.
where you get the durian, and you get
Oh.
tons of those and mix them and get extra Hearthstone.
Durian, is that a fruit?
Yeah, durian's one of the
Takeaway-
fruits.
The takeaway is if you're exploring and you get stuck, don't spend too much time doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah, no, that's good advice because I literally almost quit playing that game, but I'm glad I didn't because
Because the rain or the boar?
It was a boar?
Well, the rain was a bore. Actually, I haven't experienced any rain problems yet.
Okay.
I, like Clint Black, like the rain. Like the rain. You know that song? 1990s country music reference, anyone?
I don't
Okay.
know, but
the
you could say
Ukrainian listeners
garbage.
are going to like that.
You could say garbage. I'm only happy when it rains, and everybody knows that song.
I'm only happy when it rains.
Can we get a post Clint Black like the rain
I
sample
will.
right there?
I will
make sure you tag
try.
I think you're gonna want to.
Like the rain, I have fallen for you, and I know just why you like the rain. Always calling for you, I'm falling for you now.
You're gonna want to hear that.
And then I'm gonna put garbage. I'm only happy when it rains right next to it, which is way better.
I'm only happy when it rains.
So
It set fire to the rain.
ooh, I like that.
That is also a great song.
Yeah, it's
A lot.
great-
One of us here
Impossible.
loves Adele.
Yeah,
and
this
me.
is,
That's me.
staunchly defends her
Yeah,
prowess.
I
as an
love
artist.
people that sing that sound like they have food in their mouth while they're singing. So
I
my absolute favorite.
I only listen to singers who are eating
It's like-
mid-song.
So
How little can I pronounce my words? It's my favorite.
That's my favorite. Vit, what else are you playing?
Real quick, I beat Celeste. After Brian's review, I actually went out and bought it. I give it an A+ for music, A+ for level design. It's fun. You get different soundtracks, the B-sides, and eventually you get C-sides too. But the story, I'm only going to give a B. It kind of got a little hipsterish, and
What do you mean by that?
Like they were.
like really, like she meets a guy Leo, and he's like, "Let's take a selfie," and I'm like, I don't like any of this now.
They're like drinking coffee and having pho.
So here's the thing. I totally can
like
see
both
where
of
you're
those.
coming from, Vit Vit, but I thought it was a cool thing for a platformer to even handle a story, and it talks about depression in a kind of interesting way. Like, I don't think it's the best story ever, but it was cool for a platformer.
How does it touch on depression? What does it do?
She has anxiety attacks during it, and a lot of the mountain.
She's
I don't want to
really
give
bummed
away.
out if you die a lot too.
I don't want to give away the whole story, but it's
Okay.
there's a lot of analogies in the game.
Interesting.
True. I will give it points for trying, but some, I don't know. I'm still gonna stick with a B for story, just because I kind of was like,
You don't like depressed
I
people?
don't- no, I don't like depressed people.
You like to depress people, right?
I like to. I am the depressor.
He likes no. There's only 2 depressed people he likes.
Yeah, one of those is myself. So,
So you enjoyed it, yeah?
yeah, I mean, overall, I liked it, and like I said, the soundtrack's tight. I've been just listening to that a bunch. Like I
Soundtrack's
said, I
really
brought this
good.
up before. The older I get, the soundtrack just plays a bigger part in games for me. It really helps me kind of get into it. I mean, it was there too, like with Donkey Kong especially.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older, it's just like, if the soundtrack isn't good, then yeah, okay, I can still like the game. But if the soundtrack's awesome, it just, I don't know, it does it for me now. So that's something I notice more as I get older. I don't know if that's the same for you guys. What do you think?
I've always been huge into soundtracks, as you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hasn't really.
Donna hates them. Was what he means when he says, as you know.
I don't know if I would not play a game because it didn't have a stellar soundtrack. I've definitely played games where I turn music off for long periods of time and put on other music. But I don't think those games were designed with soundtrack in mind, a la World of Warcraft or any other competitive game.
So I think the music's not bad in those games. I just don't think it's super memorable.
It's distracting to me. Like if the point of the game is to like co-op and compete and, you know.
There's not usually a lot of music in like match type games though, but in WoW there's music for sure. It's just kind of
it's
not
really
memorable.
In a game like WoW, are you paying attention to the music when you play?
I'm not.
But I think that doesn't say anything other than that the music's not memorable, because in an RPG like an MMO like Final Fantasy 14 that has a really killer soundtrack, like it's a lot. Same with 11, and 11 is a much harder game to play than WoW.
Right.
But the soundtrack's great.
Yeah.
So I think it's not really like it's not like it may not be a detractor, but it just, you know, it doesn't mean that like the game can't have good music or doesn't have good music. It's just
yeah. But to Jake's point, I do appreciate a really great soundtrack, and it definitely enhances the game. But I'm not gonna not play a game if it has a bad soundtrack. I will not play a game if it has gummy ship, though.
This is definitely.
I think that I've gotten mostly lucky in picking games because I don't really play games with soundtracks I don't like. So I might have a similar thing. Like I can think of plenty of games that I don't like remember the soundtrack, especially nowadays since we're still in the middle of the like video games like aping Hollywood trend. So every soundtrack is extremely unmemorable, just like Hollywood soundtracks. Yeah, just lots of Hans Zimmer bullshit.
The Black Panther soundtrack is so bad.
What? Oh my god! Let's not get on
Let's
this.
not get into
but
that. I
I
haven't
really
seen
enjoyed it.
So,
That's just for the record. I like it. Josh's an idiot. Just throw it on the record.
But I mean, to be fair, like I couldn't hum you a single melody from a single Marvel movie, but I remember all the songs like in Guardians of the Galaxy or in Thor and stuff.
Yeah.
So the Black Panther soundtrack is
No, not
It's
the
all mo- is it
not
all
the
Motown?
soundtrack. I mean the score for Black Panther. I didn't really like that
well,
much.
okay, whatever. It's mostly Kendrick Lamar stuff though, and that stuff's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know, we can talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
Sorry.
so
Yeah, I haven't
yeah,
seen
sound-
it yet. I thought Black Panther mostly had like a Marvin Gaye soundtrack. No.
Oh, it's Kendrick Lamar, but it has like The Weeknd on it and stuff, and it's really good.
But anyway, yeah, soundtrack's a huge deal for me, but it has always been. So I don't know if that's. I can't really tell if that's gotten more or less.
Do you like research who's on a game soundtrack before you play it, or does that?
Maybe like 50% of the time.
Okay.
It really depends on the genre. If I'm playing a role-playing game, then I usually am just aware of who's doing the soundtrack anyway, because I own a lot of role-playing game soundtracks. If I'm playing a game like Tomb Raider, which we've talked a lot about and I loved, I'm not really going into it expecting a killer soundtrack. I'm expecting a workable soundtrack, like a soundtrack that adds to it, which is what a lot of movies do anyway, which is why the music itself, quote unquote, is like unmemorable, but it really fits the moment. So it's a lot more like that.
Okay.
Whereas like I'll get I specifically avoided Xenoblade Chronicles X because of the soundtrack, because it was done by the stupid guy that did Attack on Titan anime instead of the amazing guy that did Chrono Trigger.
Attack on Titan anime, it's really good.
I'm aware that it's a cool anime,
but the anime
I
is really cool.
just started it last night. Actually.
But it changes the entire mood of the game. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 feels a lot like a mix between Final Fantasy 12 and Chrono Trigger. Like it's got this very Chrono Trigger-esque soundtrack and kind of environments, but it's a little bit more MMO-y like Final Fantasy 12 is.
Okay.
But then for Xenoblade Chronicles X, they had J-pop. They had like rap over battles and cutscenes.
Over
and just
cutscenes was the best video
Were
I
you
saw.
to watch any of them, or were you like playing Hearthstone during it?
I saw a Twitch
I
one
think
where someone
had
was trying to watch it.
had that game featured a soundtrack from like Mitsuda, or even Yoko Shimomura helped with the Xenoblade Chronicles soundtrack, I would have picked it up. But specifically because of the soundtrack, I did not.
Do you have thoughts on that, Jank? What Jake's question?
What was this question?
Has a soundtrack ever detracted from you so much that you
Oh.
won't
Detract
play
from your
game?
game experience.
That's a good question.
Oh boy. No, not really. Like I don't like, you know, we always talk about Final Fantasy 13 too. Like I didn't like the soundtrack for that, but like it wasn't enough to like make me stop playing it.
I think the soundtrack to 13. I think the soundtrack is pretty much the most redeemable part of all 3 13 games.
I'm just gonna stop this conversation. Sorry.
We need to spend at least
Well,
30
no,
more
not
minutes
to go
talking
into,
about
not to go into the game, but I actually find that to be pretty fantastic. Like I still listen to that soundtrack even though I loathe that
But
game.
we haven't had
Yeah.
enough Final Fantasy talk.
But no, it doesn't detract from me.
Quick
playing.
aside about soundtracks, I really like the Hearthstone opening song. That when you open the game, they do like really cool CGI cutscene. I thought it was really fun.
I haven't even
A musical.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that 20-minute cutscene?
No, that is cool. Like
It
when
was
they're
2.5 minutes.
like me when they're showing the cards and yeah.
And the girl singing, and she finds a thing in the snow. It's a CGI.
Well, all of the little dungeons and things have their own unique.
Well, this is new
soundtrack
as in like
well.
3 or 4 days ago. Did
Oh,
you get a
I
chance to-
don't think I've seen it yet
It's
then.
really cool. It's
Oh,
made
sweet.
like the World of Warcraft opening videos.
Oh, awesome.
But like it looks like a Disney Pixar thing.
Oh,
Anyways,
like
sorry,
Overwatch?
Jake. Yeah, we've split aside.
So, Jank, what games are you playing?
I
Wait, I thought Jake was, or Vit Vit still had another game.
Oh, did you save it in the game, VD?
Yeah, last one is I'm going back to my my Vita and playing Salt and Sanctuary, and I'm about 75%.
Nice.
75%.
I wanted to play that.
That is a fun
Through-
game.
Yeah, I kind of got tired of it and rage quit like 5 months ago on it, and then I finished Celeste and I put my Switch down and went back to my Vita, and I was right in loving a Vita. I wish it's the system that could have been so much more.
I love something I love in Salt and Sanctuary is the feeling of beating a boss when you first discover it and you are not prepared to do so. Like,
it's always good feeling those types of games.
Yeah, it sounds like a
Doesn't
cool
have
game.
yeah.
I'd love to play it on Switch.
Hell yeah!
But
real quick, what does a rage quit look like for you?
it's covered in barbecue sauce.
she just jumps into a vat of sauce.
I get my extra hot barbecue sauce and I just unload.
I don't know what to
Can we get a visual on that?
Put up on the screen.
D3. How do you rage quit, Josh?
I realized that I can't afford any more controllers, so I just shake
Let
mine
me interrupt you for
violently.
a second
Please
there,
do,
just
please.
for our interruption's sake. Gotta keep consistent here.
always have one.
For our
There's his
hopefully,
Irish accent.
for our hopefully 1 to 2 new listeners a week, just know that it's religiously required for me to interrupt Josh in a serious way at least once a week. So I want to make
least
sure
once.
that
It's true. You might, if you're
So
from
please-
France and you're really polite, you might be offended by that. But
Please
just-
keep him honest.
There's a lot
and
wrong
French
with that
people
sentence.
aren't
Go into
polite. I don't know what part of France you went to.
but I just want to make sure that joke is refreshed because it will never die. So
Eric,
Good.
you do a really
So-
good job at it too, Eric. You do really good at interrupting him. So
I mean, sometimes I feel like you do above and beyond. Like you
I
are
just want to
supposed
let you
to.
know,
Yeah. You know-
I notice it every time.
I've
I'm
made
just
a
like-
habit of talking slow when I first start to talk because I'm waiting for Eric to
You just
interrupt
might as
me.
well not
Actually-
get anything out.
I kid you not, Josh. Sometimes I feel like I feel like I get a hint of like you waiting to be interrupted, and then you keep talking, and it's kind of funny.
I do. Sometimes
I'm
my
probably the only one that notices, but I think it's hilarious. So Eric,
And me too.
I've
You're
actually
crushing
also
it.
noticed before you both of you. So
Dave's the king of noticing.
Dave-
He is a lawyer.
I give a
It's
lot of
true.
notices.
legal
Dave
legend.
does a good job. Josh does a good job. Brian, yeah, you keep doing you, Brian.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
But I was just going to say about your rage quitting. I'm assuming it's got kind of like an Irish flair to it.
There's
It does.
Jameson involved.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
drink whiskey.
Rick-
Josh
and then-
Jameson.
Yeah,
Jameson.
Josh Jameson. No, rage quitting for me, I shake my controller violently and I throw it like at something soft instead of a wall because I just can't afford to keep buying controllers. So
That's really smart of you.
You say all the cusses like
I do
but
all of the cusses.
See, I actually go to my local comptroller and just throw him against the wall.
That's actually
There's also a
very-
controller position too, so that's
Yeah.
really funny.
all
I
we like
bash the
controllers.
two of them together.
It works.
Well, that's it for me, guys. That's all for me. It was a good show. Thanks. And
Are you
no, that's it
bailing?
for me. No, I'm not
are you-
bailing. I was just joking.
Oh, okay.
But But that's
No,
all for me. That's all I'm playing right now.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm waiting for. I'm excited for Wolfenstein 2. I want that to come out for the Switch.
Only because it reminds you of Frankenstein. Is that why you're excited for it?
Mary Shelley's Wolfenstein.
That's the only reason I want to play it.
Be really
fight
funny.
Frankenstein in the game. That's
Did anyone play the new Doom? Did anyone play? Do you guys play the new
Yeah,
Doom?
I played some
I'm
of it.
actually currently playing it.
Oh yeah.
And
How is it?
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. It's super fun.
I'd
It's
like
like
to-
Yeah.
it's like a. I mean, I'm playing it on the Xbox One X, so I'm playing the like.
When'd you get an
slightly
Xbox
more-
One X?
We'll get to that.
Oh jeez.
Well, I'm playing the slightly more souped up version than you'll be experiencing on the Switch, so I can't vouch for how fun it is on the Switch. Just because
It's
to
just
me,
as fun, and it's got motion control aiming.
Do you have it
which
on the
sounds like
Switch?
the worst thing is motion control aiming.
I mean, it's cool to have options.
Do you have to use it?
No,
It's
you
an
can shut it
option.
off. It's
Yeah,
an
motion
option.
control. I mean, I tried that. It's the same thing that it was on the gamepad. It's really hard, I'm imagining.
I doubt it's great, but I just think it's cool that they patch that in. Like it's a
Yeah,
neat little.
but anyway, a game from
No.
id or ID Software. I don't know if you say id or ID, but they're always like the kings of like super fast graphic powerhouse games. So I would always opt to play the superior version of that. But yeah, Doom is fun. It is fast. It is like a super violent Halo. It's got the levels have like little secrets hidden here or there, but it's not too big where you feel exhausted. It's really fun that the kind of like execution aspect of the game where you basically like melee kill enemies in these little like moments where you like bash their head in or something. That's actually how you heal yourself. So that's kind of a fun mechanic where it's like
It's ironic.
if you're shooting around, you're running low on health. It's like your best bet is to just run in and start meleeing everything out of
It's a
people.
cool
and-
way to encourage more carnage, I think.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's fun.
Anyway.
So janking crank and what are you playing?
Yeah, I am playing. I finished Faye.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was good. The ending, it didn't really end. It's just like you like there's no there's no narrative, and there's a narrative, but nobody talks. So like you do this task, and then you're like, okay, did I finish the game? And then the credits roll, and all of a sudden you're flying over a body of water, and you land in the forest on the other side, and you just get to keep playing.
Huh.
Sounds like you're telling me about a weird dream you had. This is not a joke,
Faye is a dream,
though it may
man.
sound like one. But I read somewhere that it's actually pronounced fee.
Is it?
Yeah, I
Fee?
saw it too, but whatever. I also read somewhere that you were writing and have a review coming up soon.
Yeah. Well,
I
feel
read
like
somewhere. I
that's
mean,
true.
a text message. So
the
they
written
sent me-
review. Yeah, the written
I was gonna
review's
say,
up.
where'd you read
already.
that?
yeah, well,
Spoiler.
audio review will be up next week, guys.
I listened to your
Yeah.
N++ review. That was
Yeah?
really good.
What'd you
Yeah,
think?
It was
It
good.
was-
I liked
yeah.
it.
Give it an M++.
Yes.
The devs actually commented on that.
Yeah,
like, they were stoked on it.
They did.
Really?
They
That's
probably
awesome.
didn't listen to it because I was kind of bashing it a little bit,
Yeah,
but
well, they're stoked that you bashed it.
I don't think you bashed it. You were pretty objective.
I
I
was,
thought.
I was trying to be balanced about
I mean,
it.
yeah, you're not gushing about it.
Most of it was my fault because I suck at it. So
No one wants to hear a review where someone just like gushes about how great a game is. I wouldn't.
Sorry, I spoke in a review about Celeste, and I gush about the game
it's
consistently.
like,
Yeah.
my name's Brian Wagner. Celeste
one.
sucks. The end.
So what's the next review that you're working on?
That's it.
Nothing
Fee,
for the time being.
Fee,
right?
Faye.
FIFA?
Yeah,
We
Fee,
might
Faye.
have an
FIFA fun?
Owlboy or Dragon Quest Builders thing,
Yeah.
but no more other.
And then I played Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Hooray!
I got like 30 minutes into it.
You love it.
Stop playing. So
Your favorite game? Favorite game 2018.
I got to throw some
He's-
poop, and that was funny. But
Would you play it again once the game is patched, like we talked about last week?
yeah, I didn't like how much reading I had to do.
Reading is so overrated.
Well, and the text is so small, and I just don't want to
It's like, just tell it to me in a 25-minute
Yeah.
cutscene.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, guys.
And I'll only watch the first 20 minutes of it.
This
there
game
are
should be-
words here.
this game should be rated adult for how boring and lame it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No,
When can I kill like 900 guys with my sword in ancient China?
I just
walking through a village.
I just want
Dynasty Warriors 9 style.
I just want to swing a sword and like knock 50 dudes into the air. That's it. Is that so much to ask for?
Yeah.
That sounds like your
read,
Friday
you
night,
just do
John.
your taxes.
You literally sound like friend of the show, Joel.
Friend of the show, Joel.
he was telling me how he's playing Dynasty Warriors 9 and
Team.
Metal Gear Survive, and his favorite things are just blasting stuff, man. And I like getting blasted too, but not the same way.
It's just turned into an always sunny conversation.
And I didn't rip that.
So
Vita, Vita.
you played 30 minutes, Jank.
I was gonna go back to it, and then I just didn't. So
Okay.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is not looking good for me, guys. Hate to say it.
You're trying it this week,
No.
though, right?
Yes,
All
I
right.
will. Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
try
I
it.
speedrun it. I beat it in like 2 hours. It was a good game.
Oh yeah, yeah, right.
On Switch.
yeah,
On the Switch.
On my Switch. No, on my Vita. I hacked it on my Vita.
How bad did you save scum, Jay?
Oh, by the way, you guys talked about save scumming. I am king of that, and no shame.
You're a save scummer?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything
Yeah, I
wrong
don't
with
think
save
there's
scumming.
wrong with. Yeah, I've been playing games like
I am
save
now.
When does being a careful gamer turn into save scumming? Like, when does that threshold?
People call save scumming whenever you don't let actions that
Yeah.
you don't want to happen. Whenever you reverse those.
People also
Being-
Oh.
call
I don't-
people save scumming when you have a 4chan account and you just like to troll
Oh,
noobs all the
right.
time.
No. So
Yeah.
that's Dave.
So, it's me. I don't actually work. I just
Just got a 4chan account. And you
Yeah.
just
I'm just on Reddit and 4chan daily. So
In the
so
law
with-
section.
and the law Reddit blogs, of course.
Yep.
So if you were like playing Mass Effect 2, for example, a game with really big consequences, and you saved right before a big choice,
Yep.
that's called save scumming.
if you played the choice and
It's-
you didn't
and you
like
don't
it,
like
and
it.
you
Save
returned
scumming
it-
is a derogatory term that's really just in the eye of the beholder, I think.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think
Oh.
that I look at it like, oh, I'm investing time into this game, and there's lots of games I like to play. Like, I'm not a 1 or 2 a game a year person, so I'm not going to replay Dragon Age Inquisition. It took me 100 hours to play through
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to save before all my major decisions because
Yeah.
When I was doing
Yeah.
Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2, I saved because I was trying to get the achievement for sleeping with everybody. So
Yeah.
I saved frequently. on that game.
Syphilis award.
That's not save scumming. That's actually called just living the.
I actually had a
dream.
question about in-game nudity. Not that I want it, but
yeah,
that's
but
so funny.
But yeah, so I think that to me it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to replay this 100 hours of my life because there's other games to play and other things
Yeah.
to do. So,
But
there's
Reddit
people
people-
Yeah, but-
that replay
Same-
these games like
What's stupid about this argument is that at the end of the day, only you're gonna know about it. So unless you feel guilty about it,
That's true.
like it's not really that big of a deal.
right. Jake, what were
Right.
you about to say?
Well, because you were saying you save every 100 hours. That's not a lot of saving, Eric.
That's not what he said.
That's not what I said at all.
He said he saves every 100 hours, so he has to play 100 hours sitting.
Yeah, I save one pretty hardcore. So you guys are all
God bless you, Eric, for thinking
I
that was
think-
save scumming.
God
I think
bless you.
honestly, save scumming comes from like XCOM, where like I still do this in XCOM, but you don't let your soldiers that you like die, and so you constantly load in
Oh.
case
I
your
mean, if I was-
RNG goes wrong.
That's what I mean. I like that Fire Emblem just gave you an option to not let your units die.
Yeah,
Otherwise
so-
it'd be-
So maybe the implication behind save scumming is playing the game in the way that the developer didn't intend.
Yes, that is the
Yeah,
idea.
okay.
You don't like they want you to make choices and have to live with the repercussions.
The one game that I think that so the problem with a lot of that is that most of these games are either really challenging tactical games like XCOM or they're really expansive RPGs. So it's like something that I really appreciate about last year's Torment is that it's not a huge game. It's a massive game. It's got more words than the Bible, but it's not a long game.
Steer
because
clear,
they-
Josh.
Sorry, we're gonna have to burn this podcast.
Anyway,
It's larger
got-
than the Bible.
But it's
wish
not
the Bible's
a,
on Switch.
It's not a particularly long game. You can get a playthrough in like 20 to 40 hours, as opposed to like 100 plus with a lot of these like games with weighty decisions is.
Yeah.
So, and the whole point is that there's not really like a perfect route in that game. There's so many ways to like block off certain things or open up different things that will just change based on your playthrough. And I think that's better for that type of game where like I'm not encouraged to save scum because it's not like I'm going to have one perfect playthrough of this game.
Right.
And at the end of the day, is it something you're like, I'm gonna go back and play this game again?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
You
with a
could in
game
that
like
one, though.
with
For
a game
Torment,
like
it's shorter, so-
Yeah.
with a game like Dragon Age or Mass Effect. I mean, Mass Effect are
I
shorter
played,
as well.
I played Mass Effect 1
Yeah.
like 3 times.
Yeah.
I played all of them
but
multiple
like
times.
for a game like Dragon Age, which is very long, and they import into each other, so that there's, with the exception of 3, there's like precedence. Like if you're playing 1 to 2, etc. It's like, do I like you want that kind of playthrough that does everything that you want, so that
Yeah.
you can safely get it to the next game,
Real-
etc.
Real quick, table and phone question. How many of you guys have replayed a game and made the exact same decisions? Because I did.
I have,
That.
yeah.
I did that in Mass Effect every time.
Not all of the same decisions, but some decisions I,
I
made
always
the same.
saved Rexar, and I always
Rex,
chose
yeah.
Rex, and I
Yeah.
always chose Ashley every
Yeah,
time.
I don't think those are super critical I mean, they're
What?
important.
Have you played with Caden in Mass Effect 3?
Not
No.
in Mass Effect 3.
What's
oh,
he
wait,
dead?
no, I have.
What's he
Yeah.
like?
He's
I know,
dead.
I know Ashley
No.
is like super racist, and that's kind of like the character development
Right.
that you go
Caden-
with.
Caden's dead, so
Is
it doesn't
Caden
matter.
like a completely different character?
I
never
don't-
played him in 3.
He's not super memorable. Oh, actually,
Well,
you
you
know
can't
what?
actually play in 3,
Right.
but
play with him.
if you
interact
let him
with
live in 1, he
You know
could
what?
technically be in 3.
I always saved him because I didn't care about the girl. So I was
What?
like, Wreck, heck yeah, and the girl, I don't care. He was my buddy. And
I
was
never
like-
slept with anyone in Mass Effect 2 because
Wait,
I
is
was
this a drinking-
always
are you drinking
true to Ashley, okay?
So I take it back, Donna. I didn't. So in my very first playthrough of 1 and 2, I did save Caden, but then I replayed the game again, trying to woo Ashley because I had heard that you guys said there were some redeemable qualities about her. So the playthrough that I actually went into Mass Effect 3 as, I had Ashley. So
the
sorry.
good
Can you
real
play-
timeline.
Can you play Mass Effect 1 on Xbox One?
Yes, all 3 of that was the first game that was backwards compatible.
I know
Oh.
that because like they have an EA sale right now, so 2 and 3 are super cheap.
Yeah,
but obviously 1 is not part of that.
Oh, those do they have
it's-
them accessible like digitally? Like you can buy 2 and 3 now?
Mm-hmm.
I might do that because I don't have EA access anymore.
Yeah, because
and
one
that's how I was
is
playing them.
one's not published by EA, so I know that it's
Oh yeah, it's not. It's Microsoft, and yeah, it's the first game
Also,
to come out on the.
as bad as I know it's
backwards
supposed to be.
compatible.
I'm still tempted to buy Andromeda for
You
$9.
should. Yeah, for $9.
Hey,
I think you
honestly,
should try it.
It's a completely different game now than it was at launch.
I mean, it's crap. Like I only
Is it
play an
so
hour,
bad?
but you should try
see,
it.
I don't
Like,
agree with that though. Like I didn't play it, and I wasn't thinking.
you didn't play it. Okay,
no,
cool.
no, no.
I did.
I played it from start to finish, and I didn't hate it. Like it had its problems, yeah, but like I didn't like. I was like, I hate
couldn't
this game.
get
and I-
off the first planet. That's how much I disliked it.
You have to get off planets in this game. What is this?
That
Guardians
sounds
of
like
the
a
Galaxy
real-
2?
We'll
I
make
could
you
not
Mesquite.
leave the first planet. Like,
That's
I
a
wanted
really good
to.
reference. I think you deserve a quick applaud for that.
And an homage.
And an homage. I'm an homage to that. Next week.
Real quick, one more thing on save scumming and all that jazz. I remember playing Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation back when I was, I don't know, how old were we? 12.
32. Yeah.
32.
Yeah.
I
I was an age
And,
I'm not currently yet.
I
We all
remember-
were.
I remember saving a lot, and then when you play Psycho Mantis, he reads your memory card, and I remember him saying, "Oh, you save a lot. Kind of cautious, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to, waste my time." Cut to 20 years later, when I'm playing an emulator of it, and I'm playing him, and he's like, "Oh, you've never saved," and like,
Oh, because you
Kinda
used the
wild.
emulator.
Yeah, because it
because I'm just playing on an emulator, so I save state.
States, yeah.
And he's like, very arrogant of you. And I'm like, yes, it is. So I was like,
See-
we've come full circle, Psycho Mantis.
With a guy like Psycho Mantis, you just can't win.
Hey, did anyone play Twin Snakes? Sorry, this is super off topic, but
I am
Like
not
the
allowed to watch.
GameCube one?
Yeah,
movies like
the
that.
GameCube remake of Metal Gear Solid.
Was that
I-
ever released on anything besides GameCube?
No, just GameCube. I just wanted to play because it had a first-person aiming. I heard it made a lot of the bosses really easy.
I played it, and it was fun.
Was it good? Yeah, I heard they redid some of the cutscenes too, or
I don't
Link
remember.
to
I
them,
I
think,
enjoyed
for
it.
20 minutes or so, 25 minutes.
A lot of cutscenes.
Yeah.
They really had, they had a
Missed the
lot of
last 5
cutscenes
minutes of it.
with timers. They really kind of let you know
All
how
in
long they were.
Japanese.
Yeah,
All
timers in
Japanese.
there.
GameCube
You were
really
hoping
knew
to
what they were
Hearthstone
doing.
during those cutscenes. You are
Yeah.
out of luck, pal.
You gotta have Hearthstone. All right, so Donna, what games were you playing?
I haven't played a ton this week. Mostly when I spent most of the week not playing games. So when I started playing games just a few days ago, I picked up my Dragon Quest Builders file again, which is still just delightful. It's really fun. I finished the 3rd chapter and I'm currently on the 4th. It's great the way that they have like fresh kind of not mechanics, but also kind of mechanics in every chapter. Like even the devices that you use to build your gear and such are different throughout the different chapters. So for example, I'm in the final chapter of the game. You are in Tantagel, which is the location of the very first Dragon Quest. And you have to rebuild the castle, which is different than the sort of like ground bases that you've rebuilt so far. Now you've come across a lot of ruined castles in your journey, but now you actually get to rebuild one, which is cool. And you're using something called a Diviner's Altar, which is new to this chapter that makes like holy water and different things. So in this chapter, the game, since you're at the heart of where all the evil curse with the plot of the game is, it actually looks like the moon. It's like everything's gray. and ruined, and you have to craft holy water, and then you just sprinkle it on the world map, and it like turns a large area into like green and lush again, turns skulls into grass that you can cut, turns giant like rib bones into trees and stuff like that. And so
that's cool.
That's kind of like a fun part for this chapter. And yeah, you build some like ultimate armor, and it's kind of like a mix of a bunch of different aspects from the last 3 chapters. So
what does armor do in that game?
So armor is everything for stats, because you have to do a lot of fighting in the game.
Oh, like a Minecraft fighting?
It's more like an old Zelda than it is a Minecraft. It is
top down.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Top down.
Oh yeah, this game.
There should be bottom-up games where you just look at people's crotch.
Just the shoes. You can't even see what's going on.
Dude, we need to make that. Can we
Up pants, up
do a
armor.
Kickstarter? It's like a really difficult game to play.
You can never know where to jump. You've seen top 10.
Oh my
We're saying
gosh.
Bottom up.
That just came to me right now,
Bottom's
guys. So,
adventure.
That is hilarious.
Okay.
listeners,
Call it a
nerds, make it happen.
Let's call it bass backwards.
Yeah. A bottom's tail.
Bottom's tail.
Can you imagine playing a game where you're just looking at a guy's crotch the whole time?
And there's
I
nothing
can.
but the sky, and so you
That's
can't.
the sky and roofs.
Yeah. And you can see. Yeah.
Oh my
Oh man,
gosh.
that'd be great. It should take place on a continent where there's only men.
I think that's obvious.
Nice.
Anyway, so armor is your stats. So you're made a lot of references to in the story that you're not like a hero, you're a builder. And so no matter how many enemies you fight, you never gain levels in the game. So you have to build better equipment, which does indirectly happen from fighting enemies. Occasionally they drop rare artifacts or rare materials that you can use to craft better weapons. I'm at the point where I've just crafted the like ultimate set, where you finally have a weapon that doesn't degrade and break, because like everything breaks in the game. But yeah, so weapons and armor do that. You know, higher defense, higher attack, etc. You find accessories, you can build shields as well. But yeah, so I'm kind of in the final chapter. I'm excited to see how like what the challenges are for it, because you unlock. There's a free play mode with unlimited resources, where there's a main island, and then there's an island based on each of the 4 chapters that unlocks upon completion, and then you unlock more recipes and things for yourself by completing challenges in the main chapter. So you can always, every chapter has a separate save file, so you can always go back into a chapter from where you left off to complete challenges. So I actually don't know. The game is making it seem like this chapter is coming to a close really fast, but I doubt it is. So I'm sure there's a twist in there somewhere. But yeah, it is a really fun, structured Minecraft-style game with some Zelda-style exploration and combat as well. So
Cool. It sounds fun. I think
it is a lot of
get
fun.
It once I finish Zelda, if I
yeah.
ever do.
Anyway, that's
Awesome.
pretty much it. Been playing more of the Radiant Historia remake again. Like I've said, it's hard to really screw up a great thing. It's probably like I've also said, it is the only game I can think of that can be compared to Chrono Trigger in terms of like having a cool time travel story. That every time there's a game with time travel, it's always thrown out there. Oh, it's got time travel, like 13-2. But it's usually terrible. And this game
is the new Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, this is great. I would very much describe the tone of this game as halfway between Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy Tactics, which is super dark. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm enjoying it as much as I hate the new portraits, and the voice acting is not actually that bad, but there's just random little things like that just don't make sense from a design standpoint, robbing the uniqueness of it. But it's still a good game.
Cool.
And you wish it was on Switch. Sorry, you forgot to say that.
What are you playing it on?
3DS.
Xbox? 3DS. Okay.
Yeah, it's originally like a DS game.
Oh yeah.
And then it apparently was going to be remade for the Vita, but then they decided to go with the 3DS instead because of the much larger
bad
install
move.
base.
I think Vit Vit, you're the only person left on Earth who still plays their Vita.
Do you still have
I
your
play
Vita?
my Vita.
I own one. I've been meaning to sell it. I just haven't got.
What
rid
is
of it.
what is a used Vita worth these days?
I hope
$2,000.
100. I hope 100 or two. I hope 100
okay.
bucks. 150 bucks.
What did
I
you
don't
pay
know.
for it?
150 bucks. I don't know.
It actually went up in value. We actually have a friend who we all went to high school with who actually did that kind of stuff. You can guess who it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
LV himself, right?
Not LV.
no.
JF.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anywho, I'll quickly run through the games I'm playing. Still playing Zelda. I was telling the guys earlier that I saw my first Dagorn, which was quite
Dagorn. That's what they're known as.
That was quite an experience. Yeah, I just been shrining, get my shrine on.
How many shrines?
I don't know. I've gotten 2.5 upgrades, so like, what is that? 10 shrines.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many shrines? There's
120.
120. Okay.
Yeah.
280.
280.
More with the DLC.
I just did the Twin Peaks or the Dual Peaks shrine.
Which one?
There's the one that's pretty close to Kakariko Village, where you have to. I won't spoil the puzzle, but
You have to go to both.
yeah, you have to go to both. Yeah.
We have never
Oh,
played this game.
There's a third one there too.
Oh well, I haven't seen it yet because I just saw the duel.
I just
and
remember two.
I finished both.
Yeah, there's 3 shrines in Dual Peaks.
Oh,
There's
well,
I
I did 3 shrines, but I did the two.
The two that are
twofer.
connected.
Oh,
yeah,
the
yeah,
2 high up ones.
yeah.
Yeah, the ones that you
And
have
then,
to do
and there's
together.
like a lower one too, which
There's
I
a
also
lower
did.
one too.
Yeah,
That one
got
was so trippy when they say, "Oh, blah blah blah," like you need to go to the other one. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Yeah,
And
that was
then
one of the ones that was far too
Yeah.
like undoable for me in the hospital.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
once I had a
that
more
would
clear
be-
mind,
yeah.
that's why.
So I did that shrine about 80 or 90 shrines in. So I just used an online guide because I was over.
Oh, I just
figuring out
used
puzzles
the
last
Switch has that fantastic screenshot mode.
No,
You
it's-
just-
it
I
is
use
awesome.
the in-game camera
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. You take a screenshot and then you go to the home.
Not
no,
the
there's
screenshot.
because you have the camera rune
you're
as
talking
well.
about that
Yeah,
camera. That's
yeah,
actually a good idea.
I
too.
use that.
yeah.
But yeah, so just been doing that. I'm currently near Gerudo Valley. I just did the tower that's in that like swampy thing where you have to use the magnetic rune to move the blocks in and stack them up. That was pretty fun. I kept getting attacked by these gigantic skeleton moblin guys, and my health is so low. I just got one-shotted by them. I only have like 4 hearts, but that was pretty fun.
Did you do Zora?
Garuda would be a tough area to do.
Yeah,
with
Garuda is
Zora.
like
I just went that way.
That was my 4th out of all of them.
I
Yeah,
saw
I
the
did Garuda
camel.
a lot. I
You
did Garuda
shouldn't
last
even
time.
try. Just give up.
Okay.
Just give
Dude,
up,
just
you
stop
idiot.
playing,
Just
man.
stop.
Don't even
Just
do
quit the
that.
game,
Go
man.
hunt
Delete
some
it.
boar, Dave.
Oh yeah, I
You
should.
can't even kill
Hey, but
boars. I mean,
what quadrant of the map is the Zora one in?
It's above Kakariko.
Yeah, it's below
okay.
Garuda. It's Garuda's the
Gerudo's to the
Garuda's
west.
like the far left.
Oh
Yeah.
Garuda's the
no,
desert.
never mind. Sorry, I was thinking of
Death
the Goron.
Mountain. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my 4th.
Yeah, if you
shrine.
if you
Fourth.
go from Kakariko Village, if you go out the northern exit into the swamp area,
Okay, I haven't even seen that yet.
yeah, it's literally just like the ground level of Kakariko. Like if you just exit,
Okay.
and then it'll take you into like a swampy land with some rune houses, and
just follow the trail.
and
It's
you'll,
really cool.
you'll eventually
Okay.
come
Yeah.
to yeah.
Gerudo, people say, is one of the hardest ones, but I did the Goron one last.
I did Gerudo last. I wouldn't say. I
It's-
don't remember
it's
which
pretty
one I
hard.
think is the hardest.
I did Gerudo
Yeah.
second, and I did Zora first. Zora is the best first one. It's
Okay.
it walks you through most of the stuff.
I
the
think Rito would be a solid first as
best.
well.
Yeah, Rito would be good because of the ability and stuff. Yeah, Rito is good.
Where's Rito in connection to
top
Kakariko?
left.
It's like it's not really the top left. It's like the middle left because the top left is the actual cold mountain range.
But it's still part of like you'll get the.
it's in a
ability and stuff.
separate place than Hebrew Mountains.
So if I went north from where I am in
You
like
go
the,
to Rito. Yeah. So
Okay.
if you go directly north, you can head there now.
I did the desert
Wait,
one
wait, north
first.
from where? Oh, yeah, yeah.
The
did
desert
Gerudo first?
Gerudo, and that's I think one of the people say is the harder ones. I
Yeah,
did that
with the
second, and
camel?
I
Yeah,
had
I
some
did that
issues.
first.
Oh, and it worked okay
yeah,
for you?
I did that
Oh,
last.
That was okay.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
I did like Google how to kill the boss, but I
I did-
mean,
Oh, the bosses were all easy in those.
I did Goron last. I didn't actually know how to get up the mountain for a while because that's the only one that requires you to have a whole different set of armor.
Well, no, you got to have heat resistance
Yeah,
and cold
but I mean-
resistance for Gerudo.
because each boss like they
Goron.
each time
No,
you
for
hit them,
Gerudo.
yeah,
well, those- we
Goron, you don't need heat resistance. You just need flame resistance.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like you don't have that.
and
Like
once
you
Yeah.
you get
heat-
there,
yeah,
though,
I don't
you can
have that.
buy
but
it
you
from their
need
shop,
you
right?
need two types
Get
of
up the top though.
you need 2 types of resistance for the desert because you need for nighttime it gets too cold.
Yeah, but
and
you
then-
can find that armor. That's the
Yeah,
thing. That's
it's
the reason
easier-
why like I couldn't do Goron until the end because you
Yeah.
have
Okay.
like a whole. nother-
Well, I'll do the Hylia whatever.
But there's a guy
Zora.
that gives you a free flame resistance in Goron in Death Mountain, like right in the beginning part of it. If you catch some lizards for him,
oh,
Ooh,
yeah, he
think
gives
I
you the
saved
helmet
him.
for free.
looking for some lizards,
Yeah, the nice
lot
the-
lizards
lot lizards.
from Sunny.
No, just from yourself.
Just from my
Admit it.
life, I'm a former truck driver. Actually, a lot of my family members were former truck drivers. That's how they supported our family. Seriously. So yeah, I've been playing Zelda Bear, playing Mario with Eli a little bit, and playing some Diablo still, and that's pretty much it.
What do you like? Where are you in Diablo?
Well, I'm still in Act 2 and Act 5.
Oh, can you? Brank and I were having a conversation in the car about timed events in games. Can you explain a little bit how seasons work in Diablo?
I really don't know how they work.
So
I've never really played the end game.
yeah, because when I started Diablo 3, since I started so recently, it's like we're in season 12 or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you have to choose between regular mode and seasonal mode or something like that.
So I think seasonal mode, like when you're making a new character, you can make a seasonal character. And I think
that's how you get seasonal rewards and
yeah,
stuff.
you get like, it's like special gears and things like that. But I don't know if once the season's over, I think your character goes with that season as well. I really don't know though, because that wasn't around when I first played the end game of Diablo 3.
I didn't even have those options when I first started my
yeah,
character. So.
it's like a newer thing.
Yeah, we were talking about timed content in games, so
There's
We'll probably
there's
talk about that
quite a bit of that in Diablo 3, and I don't know. In my opinion, Diablo 3 is improved a ton since it first came out. I think it's really fun. I don't know if I'm gonna play all that end game stuff. I just don't think I want to devote that much time to it. But anyways, I'm enjoying it right now. But yeah, so those are the games we've been playing. Why don't we take a quick BRANKE Brank?
Nice. Hey,
And
VV, you gonna join us for the news, or you outie 5,000?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Preach.
Yo, we're back. All of us are back except for Vit Vit Mesquite. He had a quick malfunction with his Vita. And
Barbecue sauce.
He spilled barbecue sauce on it. He's
got
tending to
mosquito
that.
on his Vita.
So yeah, our hearts and prayers go out to Jake. All right, quick word from our sponsor, Innovate. Like we said last week, Innovate Inc. was created by a group of millennials who are immersed in the latest technology and trends. As avid video game, it's a new term. As avid video game enthusiasts, they are embracing technology like VR and AR to really change the way we experience the world. Innovate helps businesses get to the next level by building attractive websites, creating modern brands, and using digital marketing to engage current and new audiences with social media, email campaigns, and online ads. Did you not listen to it the first time I read it? They focus on working with small businesses and business owners to provide a professional digital brand. We've all had bad experiences with trying to build a website, so Innovate prides itself in delivering the best service by working with you to get your ideal outcome. If you are interested in learning more, see some of the companies Innovate has worked with by checking out their website at innovate.tech. That is INNOVADE.tech.
As a business renter, how can they
yes.
help me though? Because
What's
I'm
a
not
business renter?
I rent occasional businesses and help them out over the course of a weekend or a week. I choose how long
So
the
you're a
terms
consultant.
are. No, I rent a business and then I like growing them. So
This
how,
would in no way help you.
okay,
I don't even
well,
know what that is.
as a VR technician, that somebody just plays VR games.
Oh, okay.
How can they help me to play VR games better?
They can't. Anyways,
They're useless.
okay, so for
love
reals,
them,
we
actually.
need to
Doesn't mean that.
record this. So I don't want to read that again. So we need to record this.
Okay, we'll record it on another day.
Yeah, we need to
We'll
record this because I'm not reading that again. But
We do love
if
them,
you're
though.
interested in making a website, you should check it out. They're very thoughtful, well done websites. I've been involved in some of those processes. They're very well done. Anyways,
It's innovate.tech, right?
innovate.tech.
Sounds cool.
Yes.
Lemonade.tech.
Lemonade.tech. Do not
If
go
I
there.
go to their office
Mm-hmm.
run by millennials, will I feel like I'm in a Portlandia sketch?
You'll feel right at home, actually.
Great. What's in the
Lemonade.
background?
That is somebody came back right when we said he was gone.
Wait,
and
Jake's
Yep.
back?
Vita Vita.
Hey.
Oh, Jake's back.
He surprised us. That was
You tricked us.
I
You
not-
knew he was coming
not
back.
intentionally. I felt a
Trixie.
little rumbling in my tummy, and then
Oh, poo.
I plugged it in. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
Okay.
Heyo.
You ready for some?
You get all that barbecue sauce cleaned off your
My-
game station there?
My baby was crying, and I was like, to my other baby, I was like, hey, baby, can you take him out of our other baby? And she's like, okay.
Baby.
Baby.
And then,
Trish was crying?
so,
Yeah, Trish was crying, and
So you sent Daisy, the 2-year-old, to go.
I was like, Daisy, Trisha's crying. Can you go help mom? And she turned her head and was like, what?
What?
And then, yeah.
Should we do a quick stock corner?
Stock corner, yeah.
All right.
Jake suck corner.
Oh, wow.
I guess Jake gets the stock corner song.
Wow.
I like that
even
song a lot.
better.
Jake's
Yeah.
Stock Corner.
Now I know how it feels.
Jake suck corner.
It really
Yeah.
hurts.
I'll
There's like
give-
all the great stock corners. There's John Dow and Jake.
John Dow.
Jake, NASDAQ, the whole gang.
Jazzdack. Okay, so really quick, we got NT Doi, Nintendo. They closed today at $56.86. Although they were down almost a percentage from yesterday, they are up quite a bit. They're up a couple bucks from last time we spoke. They were about 54, I think, or 52 the last time we spoke.
That's what you should say when you introduce a segment. Is
To what?
it's me here to give you the Jazzdack on the Nasdaq.
I like that.
It's very John Ralphie
Call
of
me
you.
when
It is
they
Philadelphia.
call me when they hit 60, okay?
They'll hit 60, I think, I'll predict.
Tomorrow.
By tomorrow.
It's Mario.
Tomorrow. Luigi. Not funny.
Sorry, everybody. We need to take
I
a quick
appreciate the effort.
announcement.
I think
We'll edit this out.
I think we're gonna edit this out, all of it, the whole show.
All the
I think
last 10 minutes.
by summer they will be they'll be at 60. That's my prediction.
When the rain's gone.
Yeah, when the rain's gone, but not in Fern Fields because it always rains there, or whatever it's called.
So you're saying we should buy?
Buy, and sell,
And become pigs. That's
and
what
become
they say.
pigs. That's what I'm saying. All right, Activision Blizzard is 72.61. They're pretty much at the same thing that we talked about last week. EA $125.80. They're down a little over 2%. And Sony is just over $50. So $50.27. They're also down a little bit. Actually, most companies are down today. The Dow J and the NASDAQ, JASDAQ, and the S&P 500 were all down about 1% and some change. So everyone's kind of feeling the effects of that. Yeah, nothing super juicy to report.
Of the rain this morning in California. Everybody was feeling the effects of
Yeah,
that.
there was some rain in California
Yeah,
today.
it's like,
so.
this is, we're all give up.
Yep.
Yeah, all of the day traders who trade from their homes decided not to go to work today. And yeah, I mean, we get Ubisoft as well. They're at 1632.
Why did you just put your empty beer can in front of me?
This is inside baseball right now, guys. Don't listen.
They're inside baseball. Anyways, I think maybe next time on the show we'll do some predictions, make Stock Corner a little more interesting. Nothing's really happening that's like super juicy in the news right now. So unless you guys have some specific questions about these game companies that you want to send us an email, I can maybe do some research and get back to you guys on that. But as of right now, I think we can wrap up this unless you guys have questions.
No.
Okay.
But it
All
was
right.
cool. I think it's because we recently learned about the Stock Corner. That's
Okay.
why.
Sure. Yeah.
Things are normal and there's
That's
no
great.
games coming out right now.
Yep. That's true.
Yep.
Okay. So we have some news. News.
First news item
News.
Who wants-
is
Do you know it?
I got an Xbox One X.
Oh.
You didn't say that in what you were playing. Why didn't you say that
Well,
when you were
I
playing?
actually
It's more
asked
of-
him.
It's more of a news
It's
item.
It's
than it is-
industry-wide news.
Yeah, every listener here needs
Yeah,
to know.
I read about this
The
on
doctor.
IGN.
Donna
Yeah.
bought an Xbox 6 months after its release.
Yeah, you guys can.
It's only like
I got. You guys can find me, Dr. H. Donna Gust, on Xbox Live. Same
Find
place
him, and it's,
I've always been, but
yeah.
before
I did
anyone
get a friend
else.
request from some random like Cupcake something was their name, and they sent me a message. It was like Oola.
Ooh la.
Ooh la la.
I would think that's your the Ukrainian listener. I would
Yeah,
imagine
that's probably them.
Yeah, that's
they probably meant.
But,
and they knew the
uh,
H in the name too.
The reason
Yeah.
I didn't include it in games I've been playing is because I actually haven't really been playing it all that much, mostly because I've been playing Dragon Quest Builders. The reason I actually bought it was because of the deal I got on it.
investment opportunities.
Yeah, so I know that
games.
eventually it, like next time the next Xbox games I play, Far Cry 5, for example, like I'm going to be really happy that I have the One X.
Yeah, that's true.
But the main reason I bought it at this point was just the timing. It was a good time to sell off my One S before it's not valuable anymore. It was a good time to take advantage of the extra trading credit at GameStop. So I sold a bunch of games because one of the great things I love about I know the PlayStation Network does similar things, but the sales that I get on gold all the time are so great.
Yeah.
Like you know, these games that I own physically, like I've bought for $5 digitally, and it makes sense to just get rid of, you know, like save some space and stuff. So anyway,
and those games transfer with your account as opposed to the Nintendo, which is like on the system itself.
Yeah, hopefully Nintendo fixes that.
Nintendo isn't like locked to the system, but you can't access it on any like it moves. So if you buy a new Switch and get rid of your Switch and you deactivate it, you can get all your
but Switch to Switch though, but it's not
what is nice though is that unlike
it's not like the Wii where you had to do that crazy
and
transfer
with
process.
Sony, since they don't do a lot of backwards compatibility, there's a lot of stuff that you buy that you still technically is locked to your account, which is nice, but I mean you can't
play it again.
All my Vita purchases will essentially be null and void when I sell that.
So Dave,
Well, why would you ever sell it?
Yeah, it's the up and coming system.
Just to describe it a little bit. It's great. I had a confusing experience where certain games seem to have all because you're supposedly what happens is every time you start a game that has Xbox One X enhancements, you have to download a patch. And it doesn't do it all at once for you, like automatically, like I was hoping it would. Just download. And I guess the reason it makes sense why they would not do that, because these patches are like 10 to 30 gigs. So
wow, what's the hard drive on the X?
It gives you a terabyte internal, but I have 4 terabytes external.
Oh,
just plug in any external.
Yeah, the transfer process is super easy. I literally backed up my console settings and everything on my external, and I just plugged it in before I even turned it on, and it even loaded my profile. Like all I had to do was enter a password.
I don't think you even have to back up your settings. I think honestly, it saves it to the cloud.
I think console settings, I read you have to back up, like things like random things like your background and stuff like that. I don't think that's saved to the cloud, but like I have like a different background picture or something, like random things like that. So it wasn't like a big deal, but it's not like had it not had that, it wouldn't have known my account. Like it had my live account already logged in essentially. That's because it had it from the hard drive. It's you know.
Do you like when you want to take advantage of like the games that are upgraded? Do you have to go into the marketplace or just do it whenever you enter the
just
game?
load the game. It'll kick you out and say you have to install a patch to play this game on this console. But the interesting experience I had was that some of my games were already updated, and there was an option on your Xbox One and Xbox One S where you can download all the 4K content before you buy a new console, so you don't have to wait all at once. But I never selected that. So games like Final Fantasy 15 and such were already updated, which was confusing, and it made me search forums like, did my game get updated? Like blah, blah, like that kind of stuff. Because then for other games, they weren't patched. Fallout 4 was not patched. Tomb Raider was not patched, etc. But yeah, so I haven't really spent a lot of time playing anything just because of my schedule, but I loaded up Elder Scrolls Online to see the Xbox One enhancements there. Thankfully, it is a lot better than the HDR patch on the regular Xbox One, which looks atrocious. But with the 4K, it actually looks pretty cool. There's some really cool lighting effects. For an MMO where you don't really expect fancy graphics, it looks good.
I thought Elder Scrolls on the Xbox One normal looked pretty good too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's a really stylized, but a stylized, cool look.
It looks great for that style game. Tomb Raider looks fantastic, like you can imagine. I had fun messing around. There's 3 modes: performance mode, which gives you 60 frames per second. There's native 4K mode, and there's enhanced, which native 4K and enhanced both give you solid 30 frames per second, but give you different, obviously native 4K as it sounds, and then enhanced visuals, which like pumps out even more graphical performance. I haven't gotten addicted to 60 frames per second, so I usually opt for the higher visuals.
And it's 60 FPS 1080p, right? That's what it's.
I think so.
at?
Yeah, I have to like look.
Would that be better if you're playing online or streaming or something, or why would you do that?
A lot of people like 60 FPS. I don't have. I mean, I'm playing old. I play an Xbox One.
I mean, high frame per second gaming is certainly a lot better than whatever that crap they tried to pull with the Hobbit film, like 24 frames or whatever. So, but yeah. So I played around with Fallout 4 a little bit as well. So the games all look cool. It is nice. I have a nice TV that takes advantage of it. So I'm looking forward to playing games on it. When I.
With all your trade-ins and stuff, how much did you end up paying in the differential?
I paid like $290.
They paid him.
Yeah, they paid me.
They handed him a bunch of $100 bills.
Just like
just
making
a fatty
it rain.
wad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played $290. Came with a copy of PUBG, and on Saturday only, it came with an extra controller, which
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Did you get to play PUBG?
No, I haven't played it yet.
Oh, sweet.
So Dave, real quick,
Yo,
my question to you: how much did Microsoft stock go up when Eric bought his new Xbox?
it quadrupled.
Okay,
It-
I just want to make sure.
Phil Spencer met me in the parking lot, and he
Had
gave
you
me
a
Peter Irvine.
bottle of champagne. And he's like,
he gave me a bottle of champagne and something called a Major Nelson. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Nice.
We haven't had Reggie on in a while. Where's he been, Brian?
Yeah,
He's
where has
been
Reggie
hidden
been?
up in the rafters.
Reggie!
Where he belongs.
we feed him sometimes.
Well, we got to get him back on.
All right, so the second and relatively trivial pieces of news are the Yakuza Monozuma's Revenge demo.
Oh, I already actually kind of explained it when I was talking about what I played, but they
You went to Knott's
accidentally-
Berry Farm?
Yes, they got a Knott's Berry Farm ride and they put it in the game. No, they accidentally gave away the whole copy of the game. to
Oh
people
yeah,
who
we already
downloaded the
talked
demo.
about that. We
But
already
the
talked
joke's
about that.
on everyone that got the game for free because there's 25 minutes of cutscenes.
I'm sorry that I did not have 30 plus minutes of free time
Oh,
when I
no,
turned
it's
on the
30
I thought
demo.
you said it was 25.
It was 25 minutes, but you need 30 minutes to
But you
start the
only
game, and
watched
then you also
20
need a
of
few
it.
minutes
Now,
after to get
do
to
you-
save.
would you consider 30 minutes of cutscenes timed content as per our other conversation?
Oh wow.
Oh
That's a great
my
question.
Lord! Please, next news article. I am Lord.
Okay.
Lord, Lord, Lord.
Feeling good on a Tuesday.
That's all. When Stan finds out that his dad is Lord, he
you're
just
not
like
Lord.
passes out, he faints or whatever.
You're not Lord. Lord is talented and a good singer.
Well, yeah, but then I put on these.
Just add some buses and a few loops from Fruity Loops. I love that.
Oh, man.
So, anyways, who wants to tell me about Final Fantasy 15?
Yeah, the director of the game announced today that they're going to have another year's worth of content for it. It's not actually news, but the news item is essentially that they are no longer guaranteeing that it will all be complete before this year is over. So they're thinking the plan, I think, is 4 more DLC packs, probably in the same vein as the ones they've already done, like stories that take place during the game when certain characters leave your party for a period of time, etc.
So,
But I think
yeah.
instead of
Oh, you're interrupting Donna?
rushing
Yeah.
them out,
Is
I
that
think-
allowed?
Can I do that?
It's. I guess it's allowed. What do you have to say?
I read about that, and like I gotta say, like the Arden one sounds okay, but I don't want a Luna Freya like
Well, that's
DLC.
just. I mean, they didn't. No one said that.
What
That's
about
what's
the
happening.
mechanic girl one? Where is we getting a
Cindy,
DLC?
yeah,
for her?
Cindy.
Oh,
is
that would
skin
be
her
an
whole
interesting
game.
fourth.
It'd be like a fun mini
Well, okay,
game puzzle.
So they haven't really announced any of them other than Arden, which is the villain of the game. They're gonna give him like a backstory. I can't really say when that might take place without spoiling the game, so I won't.
Horcruxes are involved, though. We know.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Harry
There is rumor that Aranea, the really cool like Imperial Dragoon
Oh,
chick,
she's
would get her
awesome.
own DLC.
okay.
Luna Freya would be one. I can't see that happening so much, but I could see maybe a story mission involving more of the characters with her in it. But I can't imagine, but I could be wrong, of course. It would be crazy to have one that was just Sydney, but that would be fun.
I love this idea, though, of having like character-driven DLCs, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting idea.
So, Dave, how much did Square Enix's stock drop when they did this? Because I'm no longer buying Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition.
let's check. Let's
in
add them
March.
to let's add them to our watch list.
It
no,
does.
I
It
mean,
does.
it's like, why would you buy the Royal Edition now? It's
Yeah,
not
it would
gonna
be great if
complete.
Royal Edition came with like a future-proof
Yeah,
season
like
pass
season
or
pass.
something.
It's
Do you think that this is going to prolong another entry in Final Fantasy?
I don't think so. My guess is that at this point,
they're hopefully working
that
on it already.
whatever team is on the next Final Fantasy has already started it to some degree. I mean, there's lots of rumors. I mean, they even they released that one Annie's Philosophy from like
Oh, Agnes's, right?
Aegis
Agnis.
is Aegis, right?
No,
Or-
it's Agnes's. Agnis. I almost want to say it is.
yeah, I feel like it's probably just pronounced Annie or something random
Okay.
like that. But
Yeah,
I
but
know
that was cool.
it is
Agnes is a
spelled
real
it is
name,
spelled that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looks really cool.
Sony made a movie about them, right? They're all.
But
So-
so there's rumors that could be like a concept for whatever comes next.
That'd be cool.
What's the one game that they had a poster for Final Fantasy 20 in? Is that the first Deus Ex?
Oh,
Human
maybe.
Revolution. I think it is.
Yeah, that probably is that
This
one.
takes place in the future, so there's like a poster for Final Fantasy 20 or something
That's
like that.
hilarious.
Yeah, Mankind Divided has a lot of posters too. I just haven't spent a lot of time looking at them.
Yeah. Anyway,
jumping.
'Cause you're in the air too much.
Real quick to answer your question though about the stock, in the last week it's gone up about $2.50. So they probably found out
Those
you
people-
weren't gonna buy it, and they're like, "Okay, great, that'll save our brand." Stock went
These
up.
guys are idiots. Okay?
Don't have to put it on
These,
Nintendo Switch.
These stock rats are
Stock-
idiots.
Was that a new animal? I haven't heard about that animal.
Yeah, they're
Oh.
called rats.
Anyway.
I love it.
long story short, I think, as I've said before, my theory is that 15 is basically like an experiment ground for how they're going to develop the future entries in the series. Hopefully, there's enough fans since they've said specifically that the future of Final Fantasy is going to be fan feedback driven.
That's awesome.
So hopefully, there's enough people out there that are wanting something that Brian and I both want, which is integrated DLC.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, not this go through the main menu.
No,
I don't-
Jim Crow deals.
I don't. I don't.
that got really dark.
I'm tired of getting redlined on my DLC. Jeez.
Man, okay. Jake, what's your favorite dungeon for Final Fantasy 15?
All right, so just to finish that off, the DLC in 15 is separate from the main game. There's occasionally things that like tie into you finishing it that come back for your main game, but generally you don't like play it in the main game. You load it from a separate menu, which is fine. I don't really hate it that much or anything. I know Brian feels a lot more
I hate
strongly
it.
against it than I do, but it would be nice to have more integrated DLC where it comes up naturally in the story, where they're adding to the overall experience.
Yes.
Because it would be great to, at the end of all of this, have like an ultimate playthrough of Final Fantasy 15 with everything.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
really cool. I would
yeah.
play that.
That's what I want more than anything.
Expand the second continent.
Yeah.
Expand it.
'Cause, like,
Well, I think that they're probably, it sounds like fan feedback is leaning towards expand the world of Ruin more than the second continent. I would rather see the second continent.
Yeah, I want to see the second continent. It's just so cool, and you're like, oh, I'll be here for 10 seconds. It's
But
like,
the world of
Let
the world
me
of
see
Ruin is such a throwback to Final Fantasy VI, so that's why I think a lot of people want it. So
I'd be okay with that
The
too.
second
but I want-
continent's the one you see from the train, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
You get to like kind of jump around at parts, and you get out for a minute.
How much is that game currently? Is it like 40?
it's on sale right now for like 20 or $30
Yes.
with everything.
But you don't want to buy it
Oh.
right now because
Oh.
next month the Royal Edition comes out, and I want to say it's $40.
And the Royal Edition is all the DLC to
It's
date.
all the DLC plus the ability to drive the. I don't know if this game patched.
It's all the
in
DLC to date plus more.
Yes.
Oh, it's like a season
So-
quote season pass sort of, or
No.
No.
So it does not. We don't know if it comes with the new content that we just talked about, but it does come with the ability to drive the boat, and I heard first-person mode.
Yeah, they have like a bunch of random stuff they've integrated
Yeah.
into it.
So it's
okay.
like if you bought it right now with the season pass, you'll still have to pay extra to get the Royal
Oh.
Edition content.
I don't know how much
I
extra.
think it was $20.
but
okay, cool. I'll wait then. All right. So do we?
I'm gonna
want-
get it now. I can't wait.
Right now.
Get it right now.
He left us. He's at the
It's-
store.
Yeah, you could play it on PC, so you have to wait anyways.
Our store's open this late in Eugene, Jake.
Couldn't hear you. What?
it's pronounced Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Do stores open this late in Eugene? In the Eugene, as we
In the
say.
Ukraine.
Where you live?
Stores? I don't know.
I've never been to a store.
I just buy most stuff online these days.
Well,
All
go to
right,
the store
well-
right now and check for us. We need to
What
know.
time does
Probably.
Amazon close?
There's a Fred Meyer's. Well, actually, no. I don't know. What time is it?
It
No,
was,
it's
it was just
it's
a
10.
joke. I didn't mean to. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
no,
let's-
you know what? I'm gonna go.
Let's Google this right now. We got to stay on the line.
Okay. Anyways, does anybody want to touch quickly on in-game purchase legislation or the debates? What's going on with that?
No, you said we talked about that last week. So it
Well,
was,
talk about the new stuff. You
there is
dingus.
no new stuff.
Yes, there was.
What was it?
The
Yes.
boxes, the ESRB stuff,
Yeah,
right?
now games that have like in-game purchases put that on the labels on the outside.
And do we think this is directly related to
Yes.
Hawaii's
Of course, yes.
upraising?
Here's the problem. The second the government comes in, the ESRB was created so the government would not interfere with gaming. Mm-hmm. The second that it becomes like policed, you're going to see a lot of stuff like Australia where we won't get Fallout or some game that's too violent or something that's too graphic or blah, blah, blah. Right now, they get a lot of leeway. They get to choose their own rating system
Right.
and do whatever they want. So I think this is, hopefully.
That's the same thing with
we have different censorship laws than Australia.
Definitely. But they also like can't have Fallout. Like
They
so
can't
we
have
get
fallout
it.
because
So
the-
we get it.
is
So we
it-
rule.
Is that they can't have fallout because of the violence or the drugs?
I thought it was drugs.
I thought it was the
well,
violence.
think there's
drugs were
another-
censored. Drugs were
It might
censored.
be, that might be like Germany too. I
Germany
think.
couldn't. So Germany has the craziest censorship ever.
That's crazy
In
that Germany does.
In Wolfenstein 2, Hitler is not allowed to have his mustache. He actually, so they had to
Oh.
create a model of Hitler with a shaved mustache so it didn't
Well,
look like him.
I mean, approach it from the standpoint of like dark things in your
Yes,
country's
definitely.
history. Like we wouldn't have a game about like the horrific things of slavery.
But
Like,
they have movies every year.
yeah, I know
so
movies
think-
are on a different playing field. Though I think movies people are like, oh, it's more like freedom of speech.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you wouldn't play a game as a slaver unless it was in
Right.
the Elder Scrolls universe. Where I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
I
happens.
agree.
That's a slaver.
So
Unless we
all-
want to play Morrowind again, where everyone's a racist and
Yeah.
All I meant to say was like a country that is going to have their own sensitive, weird issues that other countries find like silly, like the mustache shaving.
Yeah, I
thing.
thought that was silly.
It is silly, but
But yeah, I don't know.
Germany,
I
you're
feel
silly,
like
Germany.
see, I feel like it's good that the government is policing loot boxes because that is something that needs to change.
Well, yeah, I agree, but I don't want to have a future where it's like, oh, this game. Not that I need like ultra gory, ultra violent games, but I just don't want to not be able to play something. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and if enough countries can play it, then we won't get it. Like that's why
Yeah.
Australia doesn't get.
Did
the-
you?
some of the content?
So somebody was saying that Trump made a comment about going after video games.
Yeah, that's something that
Was
the
that-
conservative politicians always do. It's not new. There's another senator or a congressman or
Well,
something that came out and said a big thing.
It's like Yee or Lee. He was a California Democrat.
Yeah, he
No,
had a-
not him.
he had a lot of stuff that
someone,
went on.
Someone
Yeah.
in Florida or somewhere in the southeast, or I think somewhere, or maybe the Midwest. I forget. But yeah,
Southeast
some guy, senator, Tennessee. I don't know. I really don't
a
remember.
state.
But he came out with another, like, he's been ranting against violent video games for a long time. And this is something that always happens whenever there's a mass shooting. There's the conservatives that don't want gun laws at all. And so they always blame
Video
They're
games.
always looking for other things.
Yeah, media.
Because Marilyn Manson, like he was interviewed saying that after people were blaming Columbine on his music, his sales actually like tanked.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
I've actually heard that a lot of his erratic behavior is from a depression that has never let up, caused
Yeah.
by that specific thing.
yeah, I mean,
But I mean, that's sad, but
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
also pertinent.
Game
But what it is
related
that
or-
statistically speaking, there's not really like a strong link to violence from video game violence. The same with the other scapegoat, which is heavy metal, which is another one that is like highly like, oh, these like Satan worshiping teenagers are like doing this, but statistically there's no weight to that argument.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we want to get into the politics of this. I'm assuming we don't. So
No,
yeah,
no.
I'm
It'd
fine
be-
with it.
Yeah, but it is interesting. I don't really have a lot of knowledge on like what the intelligent
So we
conservative
should
response
talk
be.
about it. I'm sorry, I
Other
guys,
than
we can solve this.
yeah,
I'm just sorry. I
Get our
was-
comptroller
I
on
just-
the horn.
yeah. Let's get our
I just think this is an area that a lot of us don't know. I am definitely theorizing about, not with what you said. What you said was true about them people always trying to blame video games, but I just don't know what's going to happen to this stuff and what people want to blame on stuff. It gets into
Yeah.
such murky waters.
We were
at this
talking
point,
about
like,
loot boxes, and
Yeah.
I think the government stepping in to help out with the loot box issue is probably fine because it's something that goes outside of the game and brings finances into the game. So it's something that like is pulling you out of the video game anyways. It's like the government's not stepping in on censorship or anything that has to do with the content. It's basically regulating the companies, and I think that's good. Because
because it's a deceptive practice. Like,
it is.
Yes, it
yeah,
is.
and it is, and it takes advantage of people. And I think there's a South Park about this, and it's just statistically true, where 90% of all in-game purchases come from 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's like a percent.
Yeah, 2 or 3% of the gaming population, and that's really sad to basically have a whole business model built upon like psychological issues of people who have to spend money over and over again on games. So I think it's great that is happening in this context. Obviously, there's a risk whenever the government steps in is that like, okay, now that they got a taste for that, how much more are they going to do? But, I think that remains to be seen.
And yeah, it's who knows where we'll go from here.
Josh just had enough. He just left.
Yeah, he loves politics, and he was
He's
when
put
I
his
said
headphones down
when I
and
said
left.
we shouldn't talk about politics, he was like, "I'm done with this mother." Flipped the table.
Yeah, he wanted to throw his headphones, but he remembered how expensive they were, and he just shook them.
he shook. Throwback to an hour ago.
Let me tell you while he's gone a rage quit story from my younger years when I was.
This was yesterday.
I hope my grandma's not listening, but
Well,
you'll see once we get to the plot twist. Not that grandma.
I know. I always
the one that's alive.
Yeah. I didn't even mean to do that. I was okay. That was an Eric joke, a Donna joke, but I didn't mean to do that.
So, Pokemon Pinball, Game Boy.
This is relevant. Pokemon Day today.
It is Pokemon Day. And
happy
full
Pokemon
circle. I forgot that it was Pokemon Day.
Well, I'm glad you
but
brought
now
this
I
up.
have something
Pokemon
to talk
Day.
about. Pokemon Pinball on
Pinball.
You bowl. You bowl with pins.
It's a
That was more like a steer game. Like
yeah. So anyway, Pokemon Pinball on I think Game Boy Pocket.
Game Boy Color, right? Yeah, Game Boy Pocket.
I don't
Color,
think it was
whatever.
Game Boy Color.
Oh, Pocket Monsters, Pokemon.
Yeah, I
probably
think this
that.
was still the Game Boy Pocket era. And Pokemon Pinball had that like giant cartridge with the rumble on top of it or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Was an infuriating game, and you caught Pokemon in it, and it was I don't really remember how to play it at all, other than it's a pinball with a bunch of stuff like when you get it through things, it does anyway. I used to get so mad at that game when I was probably 11 when it came out, and I remember driving to my grandma's one day, and in the car, I rage quit by punching my Game Boy screen and breaking it, and it just instantly. And like became all black with whatever ink is.
Yeah.
So when I got to my grandma's house, when I got out of the car, I staged a fall and hurled my Game Boy.
Clever girl.
You lying jerk, your grandma.
And I was able to convince my family members to buy me a new one.
Oh, man.
Grandma
And
spent
I've
all
never,
the money.
I never
she
broke
had.
anything since.
Lie there.
Amen.
Guilty
Right
conscience.
And he's
He was
never
telling
lost
a
a
rage
thing
quit
on her
story real quick while we're waiting for you.
because you are the primo rage quitter.
Yes.
Okay. 360 games patch. That's the shorthand I have.
Jake, you want to take that one? Actually,
It's popping a lot.
we
Is
didn't-
that just the headphone volume?
Yeah, only we can hear
yeah.
that, I think.
Yeah.
I hope.
It like fixes it. Do you want to take that, Donna?
Yes. So let me tell you another story. I'm just kidding. There's been some announcements that there's some more 360 era Xbox games that will be getting enhancements on the Xbox One X.
First Fable, Crackdown.
Fable, Crackdown, now Witcher 2. So it's
Forza? I think its fourth one is a Forza game.
Forza.
Forza.
Anyway,
Forza Night.
so it's cool. It's not anything revolutionary. It will lead into our last topic of the evening, but just essentially these are small updates to combat sort of resolution issues that happen with playing older games on newer hardware. So it'll just kind of up the resolution. I heard it's going to add some more pixels and smooth out some textures, make some just like general overall improvements. These are all free patches, of course. So it's cool.
That's awesome.
Sweet. Well, with that, let's jump into the topic of the night.
Yeah.
Topic of the night, right? Jank?
Topic of the night.
Topic of
We're
the night.
about
Topic of the
intermission, right? We're about halfway through.
Yeah, we're about halfway through.
We're almost
halfway
halfway
through.
through. We've only recorded for an hour and a half, so you know
We're
us.
almost
We do
done
a
with games
3-hour.
we've been playing. It's time to
Now, what is our sweet topic?
Isn't it like releases or re-releases or remakes,
Yeah.
remakes and whatnot?
Yeah,
Why
Jake.
don't you tell us?
You can actually let's start with the dude Lee from the old Lee, aka Jake Lee.
Oh, okay.
Hey Jake.
Wait. What are we starting with?
We're talking
I don't
about.
know.
So here's the topic
I
of
think
the
you
night.
should introduce what we're trying to
well,
talk
no,
about.
I don't want to introduce. I
Yeah.
want the listener to figure out through osmosis. No. So there have been a ton of remakes, whether it was the Secret of Mana remake a week ago, or Shadow Colossus, or the Chrono Trigger re-release on PC today, the iOS re-release. They have been constantly reselling us the same games over and over and over again. And I think it's interesting because I think sometimes it's really well done and sometimes it's not. And I want us to talk about things that we think are done well
We can't always get what we want.
and things that aren't done well. So I was asking Jake, what like remakes or re-releases did you think were like well done? and which ones are you like, oh man, this was just a cash grab?
Well, not that I have a ton of experience buying a bunch of new release games, but I tend to do it sometimes. Like I'm super excited for the Dark Souls on Switch.
Yeah.
I think, and whenever they re-release a game, each one is a gamble. I mean, some people, they're the players that are never going to touch it again. I have to absolutely love a game to want to replay it again, and Dark Souls fits that. And then there's the speculation of when they do remake it, is it just updated graphics, or I heard for the new Dark Souls on Switch, they're going to change just where some of the enemies are, just to kind of
Like throw you?
mix it up a little bit, because there are mods that do that on PC where if you want to replay it, you do a mod and it just kind of changes the normal grunts throughout the game. It changes kind of where they are, where they stand. And that's a really cool mod for replaying an old game. I don't know if that's what they're going to be doing for Dark Souls, but I'm kind of down either or. If they just remake it, updated graphics for Dark Souls specifically, I'm down. And if they change where the bosses, where the guys are, I'm cool too. But then that's Dark Souls. I mean, when they remade the what's the one where they redid it with the bad graphics?
Final Fantasy 6 and Final Fantasy
Secret
5.
of Mana is the newest one they redid.
Secret of Mana, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
okay, but
when they redo that, I mean, each one kind of has to be looked at case by case, and then, like I said, I mean, if they can make their money back, good for them. But if they can make their money back and make a good game, I'm all for it. And I mean, here's the deal: if they remake a game, that's more chances for them to screw something up. So there's a gamble there, but.
Yeah, and the reason why we're tying this into what we recently talked about is that Microsoft has essentially been allowing you with this Xbox to play games through all three of their generations, and they've been patching these games. So instead of re-releasing or reselling them to you most of the time, if you own the original copy, you're still going to get it, and it's going to look better than ever. So I thought it's kind of like a dichotomy compared to like the idea of we're going to sell you BioShock Collection for $60 to get a slightly upgraded visuals on a games you've already bought once or twice.
I know Dark Souls is going to be $40, so I kind of like that difference where if they remake it and then put it at like half price of a normal game,
and it's also handheld. I think
so.
Then that's something I'm on board with.
Yeah,
if they want to remake a game and release it cheaper, because they're doing a lot of work on these, so it kind of depends.
I don't think that. Well, I mean, the Dark Souls remake being handheld is not really a selling point for me, but I'm still excited for that, or the re-release. I think that there's a couple things to consider. One is that the most grievous offender of this is Square Enix.
Yeah, they've been doing this really
I'll
poorly.
elaborate on that in just a sec. I hard disagree that the BioShock collection is a rip since it's 3 games for $60.
Well, it's 40 now.
Yeah, it's usually 40,
you can
and
buy
I've
it for
seen
20.
I've seen it for sale for 20. I also don't know. I haven't really played them, so I don't really know what level of like upgrading
Redo they
they've
are.
been doing.
My
But,
biggest beef with games like that, real quick, and I want you to finish what you're saying, is just the fact that they were on the last generation. We have a console out right now that allows you to play backwards compatible games. They did not release them for a while. I think they're now backwards compatible. They did not release them backwards compatible. Instead, resold them as a collection that was more money. When somebody like myself owns them all with all the DLC, I don't really want to pay again to
look
play
at it
these
this
games.
way though, like if you want to play it again, like if not that that's you, but if someone wanted to play it again and they wanted to get achievements for it, like if you're a completionist and a achievement hunter, like that's the market. I think they're trying to hit with those.
I think that also it's reasonable that they re-released that package with all the DLC upgraded for $60, and then for everyone like me that's played all those games with all of the extra content, like I'll wait till it's $10 to $20 on sale, and then it's
you
like
wait till like Black Friday. I'm sure you'll
I
find.
mean, they're not forcing any of us to buy these games. Like the Secret of Mana remake, it didn't hurt anyone that they released it. But
I think those are more like those are harder because I think there's like not an uncanny valley, but I think there's an issue with like PlayStation, or there's an issue with games older than the PlayStation era that's not present with remasters and remakes from the PlayStation 2 onward era. Partly because I think that a lot of the graphics in the like polygonal games are really rough, and when they come out with remakes, it's like it's a lot more forgiving because they're remaking these polygons to be more clear, etc. But with Super Nintendo games, for example, most of those games still look really great today, and so this need to like upgrade them ruins them in a lot of ways. In other words,
we don't need it.
Yeah, it's like a different thing. Like I feel like Final Fantasy 12 remastered, like it looks cool and it doesn't look that different than Final Fantasy 12 from the PlayStation 2 era. But
it was 2 generations between PS2 and PS4.
Right.
I'm a lot more forgiving when they're not reselling me the same thing like a year later. And I did buy Dishonored remastered. Like, so I have bought my fair share of remastered games, but I kind of, it's up to each person, right? Like the Chrono Trigger release day, nobody has to buy it. Secret of Mana, nobody has to buy these games. But it's just like, this is a team of people who's spending time making this that could make something else that I just feel like some of these are waste of time.
I think my opinion is that I'm more interested in talking about the mistakes they make with these, not really the like cash grabbing part of it. Because I don't really care the same way. I feel like the Dishonored remasters, those like the remasters of this gen are not all, but are largely games that came out towards the end of the last gen, and they're for people that didn't experience them. Like I played all the BioShock games, so unless it's really cheap, I'm not going to buy the BioShock collection because I'm not really itching to replay them as much as I love them. Dishonored, I never played any of them. So
the Dishonored one makes sense though because it came out in the wake of Dishonored 2. So
okay, but you could have, if you had an Xbox, you could just play it backwards compatible. You could have bought it for $5 in a bin.
Yeah, but
it didn't change anything.
It's the same thing. Like when a new movie comes out and they release the one that came before it. Like you could red box it or get it on Vudu or whatever. But like it's just another chance for them to make money. And
yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like I feel like it's egregious. So when I think it's done well, and this is what I know Donna wants to talk about. Like I felt like some of the Blizzard remastered games have been done well. The StarCraft 1 remaster.
Yeah,
it's been a long time. Like a very long time, and they remake it and remaster Shadow of Colossus. But like you want to mention, I know you want to talk about Square Enix one, so I want to let you talk about like what they've been doing.
Yeah, and again, Shadow of the Colossus is an interesting one because it's supposedly a pretty spectacular remake, but also alters the mood of the game a little bit.
In what way?
Because that one was rebuilt almost from the ground up, right?
It was rebuilt from the ground up.
A lot of these games, they don't have the source code anymore.
Because the lighting is different, it changes the kind of darker tone of the game. Not really, but enough to be noticeable. Again, that's going to be subjective to who plays it.
Right.
But that's kind of the greater risk with remasters / re-releases because I think remakes are a much scarier concept. The remake of Secret of Mana looks like trash. The soundtrack sounds terrible for the most part of what I've heard. Put like really weird, like obnoxious accordion sounds for the melodies a lot, and it's just like it's.
But you can turn that off and play with the original soundtrack, though.
So you can't turn it off and play with the original graphics.
Okay, but I agree with what you're saying. Like it's definitely not the best done remake, but in my opinion, the problem is that we're getting into a zone where we're seeing more remakes in a given month than new games outside of like Steam properties.
Yeah, the sad thing is that they don't stick with a definitive version. For example, the Chrono Trigger release, which spurred on this conversation, Chrono Trigger's out on Steam now, but it's a port of the mobile version of the game.
The worst one.
So you're playing it. It has all of the like touchscreen formatted menus with the ugly fonts, which is like a huge thing. Like you don't think about it like, oh, the fonts in Chrono Trigger are important to me, but like when you see something that's ugly and it just like looks weird. And again, the touchscreen menus are useless on a controller or keyboard because the whole point of like having your menus like invade your screen space is because you're touchscreen. So it's baffling that they ported such a terrible version of the game instead of like the DS version.
Yeah, the DS,
which is the best version.
I think the definitive.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they even ported it at all because if you're on PC, you can just play an emulator of whatever version you want.
So I think it's because these games are created on PC anyways. My guess it was next to no time.
Yeah, I imagine it was dollars. But then something that wouldn't be next to no time would be like the Final Fantasy 5 and 6 remakes, which look god awful.
Yeah, I don't know why
those are bad.
They
like
did
the polygonal versions of.
They're
the
not
old
polygonal. Games? They are. they are like
Still sprites. They're
yeah,
just really
they're
poorly
like
made
airbrushed
sprites.
But
sprites.
4 is the polygonal
yeah.
version.
Yeah, I don't
They
really
have a
think.
polygonal one on DS, but then they also on phone have the.
I have an Android.
Yeah, I played
the
the
polygonal one?
3 and 4 got polygonal remakes. Those are actually great. I think.
the heads, right? The big heads, the bigger heads.
Yeah, it's like
that's
DK mode.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have big heads.
and
They're-
Goldeneye.
yeah.
They're those are fine. Those are different versions of the game because you can play 4 in its original way anyway. The definitive version of that. I guess the baffling thing is that PlayStation Vita and PSP has the
Vita.
Final Fantasy IV Complete Edition, which has completely redone sprites, but they look true to the original and fantastic. So it's baffling that they put all that effort into such a great version of that game, and then when 5 and 6 came along, they made these awful versions. They just look terrible. Not that they're not polygonal remakes; they're sprite remakes that look. I mean, they look like
Yeah, I don't know why they just didn't stick with the original. It actually takes more work.
yeah.
Well, it sounds like the majority of these games, though, it's really you have a lot to lose but very little to gain from a player's perspective. But from the developer's perspective, it's like, well, we have additional revenues to gain.
So,
Without
real quick, a game like Secret of Mana, how easy was it or is it to get a hold of the original?
It's as easy as finding an emulator.
Yeah, I mean, they also just sold on a mini SNES Classic. You
Okay.
get
a lot of
copy
people
it.
don't like to play emulators, though.
Yeah.
Either
Yeah.
for moral reasons or they don't have a computer or whatever. They
But
just,
yeah,
a lot of people
It's
don't
on the
like to do it.
SNES Classic.
It's
They
on,
also released the collection on Switch that's in Japan only, but hopefully that gets.
Another thing to mention though about that specific remake, and I know we're going along today, so I'll try to wrap this up soon, is that like the director supposedly said that he just wants to keep remaking the game for future generations, and I get that a lot of us hate this art style they chose, but I think his intentions are pure in that like a lot of kids aren't going to want to play the old Super Nintendo one. So
Right.
this one's going to be more inviting to a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like
They should have the option, though.
I totally agree with you, but I'm just saying I don't think he did it out of like a I'm gonna screw
Yeah.
this
No,
up.
I don't
yeah.
think that anyone. I think that what happens is that there's just lots of people that have really shitty taste. Because that's what it is. I mean, if you look at the Secret of Mana remake, it's artistically flat. It's not unique. It's not
But
interesting.
it's the same director who made Legend of Mana and Secret of Mana.
And that's what's baffling. So that's why it's like he's, that he would choose this unique style that he's cultivated in this series and then just throw it out the window. Because that's what
Drugs.
you want is you wanted to
Clearly.
this is a war on drugs.
you want a definitive edition that newer generations can play, but why not stick with your aesthetic? Again, it would be like there's a million metaphors you can make with whatever art, like remaking a movie, with terrible, like with redone characters that are more like current or something like that.
More
or-
Ewoks.
Yeah.
Like
Or Ewoks.
Ghost in the Shell, that
Right.
American remake that's supposed to be terrible.
Yeah, I was actually really excited for that, and then
It looked really cool.
Yeah.
I saw it.
I know
I'm
it's
sure you did.
It's 10:30, and I don't want to moderate, but I do have one question to it's because we could talk about this all night. We'll probably have to table it and
Boxers
come
or
back.
briefs?
I've been asking you guys every month at the end of the month, and this is the last February podcast we'll do, and you're going to listen to it in the first week of March, so sorry about that. What was your guys' favorite game to play this month? It didn't have to come out this month. Just your favorite game that you played. And whoever, Jake, do you have that off the top of your head?
Keep it brief, not boxer.
Oh.
Wait, which game?
I bought Morrowind and started playing it again, and it's the best
Oh,
Elder Scrolls
ill.
game.
That sounds awesome. And what about you, Donna?
Probably Dragon Quest Builders.
Dragon Quest Builders? Davey?
I think Mario. I think if you asked me next month, I would say Zelda because I'm really enjoying Zelda.
Would you say Zelda's a bore?
Oh my gosh.
It's too late for that.
But
Mario?
for Mario for now.
Cool.
FIFA.
Fee fi fo fum.
Fee, fi,
FIFA,
Okay.
fo,
fum.
And for me, it's Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Pretty much all I've talked about.
I would never have guessed that.
Yeah. One last thing that I want to add. We've got a review coming up. We got Games of the March coming up.
Games of the March.
Oh, it's
the Ides
out.
of March.
It's out.
Games of March is out.
Games of March is
yeah,
out.
by the time you listen to it, that'll be out. And we're gonna try to start doing live phone calls and stuff. Dave,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. That's thanks for tying that all together. I'm good. Unless you guys have any closing thoughts, I'm good.
I'll plug something I've been watching real quick.
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
No, shut up.
I am
With Daniel Radcliffe, right?
I am
For our listeners
Frankenstein.
out there on YouTube, I've been watching a channel called Boundary Break, where they play these video games and they take the camera like outside of the levels and underneath the levels, and they see what they find. And they do Mario 64 and Zelda, and they do Half-Life, and they do a bunch of different Banjo-Kazooie and all these games, and they even do some old like Super Nintendo games, and they did Earthbound, and they take away layers of the levels. It's interesting.
That sounds
and,
cool.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun watching some of the different videos on YouTube. I'm almost certain it's called Boundary Break. So I'm going to plug that.
That's interesting. A lot of that stuff is like super relevant to speedrunning culture. You don't really see that when you're watching the speedruns, but it's all kind of built upon those glitches and things like that.
AGDQ, man.
AGDQ, watching ZFG's run of 100% Zelda Ocarina of Time. He beats it in 4.5 hours.
Did you guys ever get to see the Metroid multiplayer runs where they have 4 people play?
Yeah,
the Super
I've watched
Metroid
those
run?
before. Those are fun.
Those are awesome.
With
I love
4, it's
watching
kind of distracting, but
watching the speedrun fails videos where they get too excited and then they celebrate, and then they celebrate too early and then their speedrun fails. Those are super funny to watch too. Just like YouTube speedrun fails, and it's kind of you'll get a kick.
Innovate.tech.
Anyway.
All right, I had to throw that in for us.
That's it for me. Boundary Break. Check it out, guys.
all right, cool. Well, thanks, Vit, for being on the show with us this whole time. It was really fun. Hopefully, we'll have you on next week. And to the babies in the Ukraine, we love you. Good night. And rate and review the show.
That's to us people that can feel things. It hurts.